The Gettysburg Today
Yes.
Recovery Services. Your request is for $25,000, and I had some questions about the program. It's new, and I'm not familiar with it at all.
Okay.
Now, the facility that you have, are you renting or do you own the facility?
I'm on a sales agreement there.
Okay. So it's like a rent to own.
It's a lease for the first 2 years. After 2 years, we take over the mortgage.
And I think your application has 8 residents.
Correct.
In what's 2 separate units, is that correct?
Correct.
Is it a duplex?
Right.
Is there, and that those units are separate from one another,
Yes.
so you have to enter separately on each side?
First floor is a unit, separate unit, and then the second and third floor is the other unit. And there are separate entrances to each.
Okay. And how do you get your referrals for your residents in there?
They come through drug and alcohol rehabs, inpatient rehabs, even outpatient. So if somebody's completed the program there and needs to go, they could also come from the county, as far as like out with prisoners, a drug and alcohol program there. Like if somebody's there for DUI or something is coming through, that didn't have a place. So most of them will come through the treatment facilities where these men are at.
Now, would they be local treatment facilities?
Well, the people that they would refer, I want local. Now, somebody from Gettysburg may have not been able to find a bed. There is no inpatient, there are no inpatient facilities in Gettysburg, Adams County, so they may go into York Colonial House, but they're from Gettysburg.
Okay.
So they may call from Colonial House, New York, but for the resident would be a Gettysburg or Adams County resident.
Yeah, I think the last hearing you indicated that you anticipate maybe 3 or 4 to be Gettysburg residents. Is that?
No, I anticipate 90, at least 90% from Gettysburg.
Okay.
Now, the other 10% from Adams County.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, it's all local.
So you're
for
focused
here.
on Adams County.
Adams County,
Okay.
Gettysburg, correct.
Okay. Now, in your budget was mostly costs associated with the residents, and then you also had some salary and a small amount of office expense in there. Now, as far as other sources of income for this, will those residents be paying rent for staying there, or how does that?
Once they are working,
Okay.
steady income, yes, and they would be expected to pay rent, share the rent, and stay there.
Do you have an amount on that, or?
It would be
have a
no more.
standard?
It would be no more than $95 a week, depending on how somebody doesn't have a job that can pay that. That would be adjusted to where they're at, and that's mainly
Okay.
just to teach responsibility, you know, and taking care of themselves and doing that.
And do you currently are there currently residents residing there right now?
Currently,
And are any of those employed, or do you have certain requirements about how soon they have to get employment?
When they come in, there's a 2-week orientation period, which they are to use that to find employment. And now, this time of year, you know, especially if they don't have transportation, just within Gettysburg, biking or walking distance, it's a little harder. So I've extended it to like 3 weeks, as long as they're out looking for work, you know, and trying. But basically, I like to get 2 weeks to find a job.
Now, I noticed there weren't any utility costs in your budget, just for the rent.
Right. I didn't add it on to that budget there. Yes, there are utility charges. They don't pay separate utilities like the guys when they come in. I pay that, as the organization will pay that.
Okay.
So yeah, all the utilities are there.
Okay.
And a lot of this that I'm requesting and help is for especially when the new people that come in to get a job, even if they get a job in the first or second week, till they get a paycheck and all that coming, you know, 3-4 weeks may go by without any type of help from them or, you know, coming in, and then we subsidize that to keep them so they can come in, so I'm not turning anybody away.
In your application, I don't think it was clear there, but in some of the press accounts, as I understood it, there's no on-site supervision there in terms of someone who's actually there at the site, 24/7, that sort of thing. What services are provided at the site? Is there any counseling that's provided at the site? You mentioned 12-step meetings. Will they be provided at the site? What will happen there?
As far as the 24-hour, I don't have a paid employee staying on premises. I don't have that. I myself am down daily, and I have a board member that's on our board of directors that lives here in Gettysburg that stops in daily or nightly when I'm not around. There's no paid employee staying on. Now, as far as the services, no, there's no treatment as far as counseling, medical, any of that stuff on site. They are all, will go to Pennsylvania Counseling or Hanover Adams Counseling, the services in the borough. So no, that's it. The 12-step meetings are in Gettysburg. They're not.
Where do they hold those?
Most in Gettysburg are held at St. James on Stratton, York Street is where most in Gettysburg. And then there's others in the area, Hanover, in the whole area. But these guys will mostly be going in there. So that
Which having the services mostly in the borough makes it, kind of makes sense that they can walk to those and that
where
sort
they
of
can
thing.
all, everything's within walking distance. Right. The life skills that we want to do for the guys weekly would be in the borough, also at reentry over on Water Street where they already do that. So they would be going there for those services.
Now, do you have formal agreements with these service providers as to what about exchange of information and so forth?
No formal agreements.
Okay.
Right? If they go with confidentiality, HIPAA and all that, if they go to counseling, that's the client's, where he wants to, or she wants the information to go to. If they would sign releases, then that information could be shared.
Do you require them to sign a release? Is that something that you require of the residents, that they sign a release?
I don't require that at this point, no.